Hey, I'm Justin Timberlake, and welcome to Unscripted. I'm here with Emile Hirsch, the talented and mysterious actor. We are going to ask each other questions, I think, with there's some of your questions and some of our own. So let's kick it off. I'm going to start with the first question. What attracted you to play the character you play in Alpha Dog?
I've read the script, and Nick Cassavetes wrote it, and I knew it was based on a true story, and it just really struck a chord with me, and it seemed like a character that I never really played, you know. I wasn't used to playing a tough guy, or ever even being thought of as tough, you know. So I wanted to do that.
Do you think you pulled it off?
No. I mean, you know, tough. What is tough? You know what I mean? You gotta find.
What is tough?
What is tough?
You gotta find the inner toughness.
And, you know, I think it's part of the character. It's like every tough guy's got a front. And that was what I realized playing it. It was like, yeah, I'm tough, but I'm really scared inside.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Got something to hide.
Yeah. Now, were you concerned that taking on a bad boy role would isolate your fan base?
To be honest, man, I don't think about stuff like that. I just, I respond to the material that I respond to, and I wanted to do something that I felt was honest, and I was looking to get into film, and I thought this was a cool way to do it. Nick, obviously, you know, approached me about the film, and I was like, what more honest way to do a movie than to do something that actually happened.
Kid's older brother owes money, and Johnny's holding him like a marker or something until he gets paid.
We could be in a lot of trouble. You can't just take a kid.
That's what I told you.
If you asked for ransom, you're probably looking at life.
Okay, Unscripted. What do you think was the toughest scene for you to pull off for your character, Johnny?
I think easily the toughest scene was one of the first scenes that we actually shot was when we were in Palm Springs. It was one of the first days of shooting, and I was really, really nervous. And it was like 4 pages of dialogue. I was so nervous. I remember we did one take.
It was weird too because he was shooting from across the street, so he was yelling at us over the wind.
No, in the bedroom.
Oh, okay.
That day, and this is a scene where my character is trying to convince Justin's character into doing something very bad. And it was just a lot of dialogue, and it was very complicated psychologically. You know, I was trying to let on, but not too much, and manipulate you at the same time.
I remember when we were trying to do the rehearsal, and Nick kept going, okay, stop! And he'd make us start over, and we were like...
Yeah, and I remember there was and I think it's one of my favorite scenes. It ended up being that way, but I remember there was like one of the first takes, and they were like, action! And I just like walked in, and I sat down, and like, I didn't say anything, and like you like passed me like the joint, and then like I didn't go to grab it, and you were just like, and I was just like, and then I just like started like looking around. I'm like, oh look, there's the crew, and there's look, it's a camera, and then Nick was like, cut, and it was just hilarious. I don't know, it was a funny moment.
I mean, it's a big problem, and we gotta fix it.
So what do we do?
I don't know. If we let the kid go, he runs back to mommy and daddy, and he rats us out.
Maybe he won't.
Not to mention Tattooey. We're all gonna be looking over our shoulders.
I don't think the kid'll spill. I really don't.
Yeah, but what if he does? See what I'm saying?
I'm not going to prison. Look, I just won't.
Yeah, me neither.
Can't we just grease the kid? You know, tell him he can hang out any time, that he's our boy. Throw an arm around him or something.
Give him a few bucks.
Right. And tell him when mommy and daddy ask to say that he ran away with some girl or something.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe,
look,
yeah.
I mean, we'd have to get the story straight, but we can make it work, man. I know we could.
What was to you one of the most important parts of the training process, in preparation for the movie?
Ooh, the physical training was tough, man.
Frankie Cassavetes.
Yeah, Nick's brother. For those of you that don't know, Nick's brother, he trains. He does a thing called pro camp, which they train hockey players and football players. And so we went under this really intense, vigorous training session for 3 months, 6 days a week. Probably the first 2 weeks of it, where you had to do these specific exercises to build up your core muscles before he would actually let you lift weights.
Yeah.
That's the most physically...
With the thing where you're like...
Yeah, that's the toughest thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
I'm like sweating and you're like lifting a 5-pound weight and you do it this
doing it 30 times and you lock your arm. I remember after one of the first days you like did it and you were like, does that burn your arms too? And I was like,
and you first look at it, you're like, it's 5 pounds. This is girl's weight.
Yeah.
and then all of a
They get
sudden
to
you
you,
feel
but-
like a girl.
What is your favorite movie line of all time?
Favorite movie line of all time?
It's a hard question.
That's a tough one. Broderick in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, when he throws the blinds open and he looks around and he's like, how could anyone expect me to endure school on a day like this?
Yeah.
You just knew you were in for something.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
I can quote every line from that movie though, so it's like, the appropriate question is like, what's your favorite line from Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yeah. Well, we know what it is now.
There you go. How do you think that popular culture, i.e. rag mags, tabloid shows, have affected the process of filmmaking?
Well, I think in certain ways it's had a little bit of a negative effect in the sense that it gets people a lot more self-conscious about the process and about just being free and being willing to make mistakes, because you're always concerned that, you know, there's a photographer in the bushes, or you're being filmed, or you're going to be judged for some reason that has nothing to do with the movie.
Right.
But in a certain sense also, I think it's beneficial because, you know, it brings more attention to the films,
Right.
which is always good, enable to get them
But
made.
do you think that some actors,
Yeah.
for instance, would get taken out of the loop because it becomes a popularity contest? Like, studios are like, I know we can make money off of this
I mean,
name.
absolutely, that's always going on. But what I do believe is that talent wins out. You know what I mean? Maybe that can happen for a role or two, but then once it starts being shown, you know, I do think that the best man's going to get the job.
All right, this is your last one. The 3 things I love about movies are, finish that sentence.
Women,
Very honest.
acting, and suspense.
You took one of mine with women. No,
Just to say it.
I love that point when you forget to act.
Yeah.
And you like sort of black out, and then all of a sudden somebody yells cut, and you're like, do we just finish that? I love that. My favorite thing about films is the music, the score, and then other than that, popcorn,
Yeah.
popcorn, candy,
Some
hot
Vines,
dogs, Slurpees, sitting in the
Yes.
dark.
Brand fresh.
That's it.
Yeah.
Thanks to Moviefone for having us. This was a pleasure.
And thank you very much for sending in all your questions.
And watching.